All right, Pops, we have some interesting new data from Cox Automotive showing that dealers are getting a little bit nervous about what's going on in the car market. Dad, leads are down year over year so far in May on both Auto Trader and Kelley Blue Book. You reference another piece of material that Cox is sending out to all their dealers, and it says, quote, "Buckle up, folks. It might get a little bumpy." Dad, it seems like the car market is starting to slow down a little bit. Consumers are voting with their wallets. They are choosing not to pay these ridiculously high prices for new and used cars. And the industry, well, they're taking note of it.
Apparently, at least some in the upper end of it that constantly look at the data involved. I don't know that we've seen enough people voting with their wallet and voting with their feet and staying out of the market. But the more people who do, I think the better the impact will be for future pricing moving forward, and it will indeed make it seem like the dealers need to buckle up.
Well, Dad, I mean, there are headlines when you read online, different of the major media publications. They're talking about how new car inventory is starting to build back up for some brands and not for others. So you are starting to see more inventory on dealers' lots and consumers that are looking at average interest rates, folks, on a new car of nearly 9% and 13.5% for a used car. So it might be that they're voting with their wallets, or literally their wallets just can't afford that inventory that's sitting there. You and I have done research in the past over on the Ray and Zach channel, our live show. We've done some research very recently, just going through the different trim levels of new inventory, and even things like searching for inventory of Ford F-150s under $45,000. They just don't exist. So we've got inventory building up. That inventory that is building up is expensive inventory because the OEMs jacked up the MSRPs. And then you have consumers who might be interested in maybe stretching their wallet a little bit further to go buy that thing, but then they're hit with 9% APR or 13.5% APR. So, Dad, when you look at the leading indicators, I'll go back to it from Cox, leads are down year over year so far in May on both Auto Trader and Kelley Blue Book. Credit applications are down 11% year over year so far in May. I don't know, man. I don't know if you have to look that far to think that the market is definitely softening. All right, Pops, CarEdge.com/report. Why am I going there?
Because this is the tool that truly levels the playing field between you and the dealer. It almost puts you in total control. Yes, I will go with the market is softening. It's a slow market to a degree, but it's not dramatically changed from where it had been, although it is moving in the right direction ever so slowly. As we know, when we start seeing prices coming down a little bit, whether it be on the used car side or even some of the deals that can be had on the new car side, they're still significantly higher, the prices, than they had been just 3 years ago, because the run-up in retail values for used cars was about 50% over the past 3 years. The new car MSRPs went up probably about 20 to 30%. And so when we see a slight decline in prices or a slight slowdown in the number of people in the market, it is causing pricing to go down a little bit, but next to nothing in comparison to what the run-ups had been. But any movement down is movement in the right direction, regardless of how small or limited that movement might be so far.
Let's hit on the used car side for a second. The latest data from Black Book shows at wholesale auctions a 0.13% decline in wholesale values. The data from Cox Automotive, so Manheim auctions specifically, shows a 0.5 point decline in wholesale prices and a 0.1 point decline in retail prices. So softening is definitely the word to use here. You're not hearing the words coming out of my mouth of crash, explosion, implosion, anything like that, because it's truly just a softening. And then on the new car side, you are seeing different brands. We've covered this ad nauseum. So if you, the list of brands that have available inventory right now, we've got a great guide back on CarEdge.com that highlights this. Go look at a Buick. Go look at a Dodge product, a Ram product, a Stellantis product of any sorts, a Jeep, a Volvo. Yeah,
yes.
Even Acuras have some inventory.
Yes.
On the new side, you are seeing softening in the sense that now the OEM, you're right, Dad, jacked the price up by 20, 30% in the MSRP, is now offering 10, 15, 20% in incentives, or the dealers are, because the inventory is sitting there. So, we are seeing dichotomies in the market, because then you go look at a used Toyota or a new Toyota and that ain't happening. But I do think it ties back to where we started, which is leads are down, credit apps are down, consumers are voting with their wallet. And this was exactly what the Fed wanted.
Yes.
This was to stop inflation.
And it's what we thought would happen. We've been saying that we think the size of the market, of the number of people in the market, has continued to get smaller and smaller for two reasons. One, rising interest rates have caused monthly payments to go up, so it's taken a few more people out of the market because of that. But more than anything, it's the prices of the vehicles to begin with. So it's a smaller segment of society that feels as if they can actually participate in looking at purchasing either a new or a pre-owned car at the moment. And the number of sales from that smaller percentage that are buying is still rather strong, but it is a smaller piece of the pie that's out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do think, Dad, this is a story that we'll continue to watch, because there is such a shortage still of quality used cars that even if enough folks do vote with their wallets and walk away, will used car prices continue to stay high. We looked at Edmunds data recently that says exactly that used car prices are coming down, but they'll continue to stay high. And then the OEMs, did they box themselves into a corner, those that produce too many vehicles, too many expensive vehicles, too many $100,000 Jeeps, for example, that they are going to have to cut those prices significantly to get people interested? And you've always told me, Dad, car dealers and OEMs, they know one thing: lowering prices to move metal.
That's it. That's what they know. If it's not selling, it's because it's priced too high. You just haven't lowered the price enough for someone to say yes yet.